Hello YouTube, I'm Prepper Princess. You guys know me. I am the author of Living on Almost Nothing. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description box below. And that's my intro. Alright, so I've talked about this before on the channel, but I want to talk about it some more. So there you have it. I will never work another 9-to-5 job in my life ever again, no matter what. And here's the reason why. There's it's not just one reason, it's like 50, but I got out of debt in my early 20s. I found that frugal living was definitely the life for me. Debt-free living was definitely the life for me. And once you get used to it, it's pretty fun, to be honest. It's like, I love making my own coffee. I like my food made at home better than I do eating out. It's efficient, it's easy, pretty good, and I'm in a really good place. My mortgage is paid off. I had a rental property for a while, working on selling that, but that's another story. I have solar, so I have no electric or gas bill, and everything else is kept to a minimum. I enjoy cooking on a barbecue or bonfire with a grill. I forage for my own food, a whole bunch of other stuff. And I think about this a lot. And I would literally rather live in a tent than work a 9-to-5 job again, and I will explain to you why. For starters, let me say that I had to work because I got my degree right during smack dab in the middle of the dot-com boom recession, and I got stuck in low-wage, crappy jobs, and because I made such low wages, I had to work two crappy jobs. So I would have a retail job for 8 hours, and then I would go and maybe be lucky and work in an office or a call center or something along those lines. And let me tell you so many different things. So for those who say that the younger generation is lazy and entitled and they don't want to do anything, and you can say the same thing about me, that's fine. Whatever. When you work in retail, your biggest problem is the customers. And people can say, well, if you can't take it, don't get the job. You need to eat. You need to take what you can get. But customers, and I started this 20 years ago. And I just stopped maybe 3 years ago. Finally decided I can't do it anymore, and it's not that I can't do it physically or anything like that. I can't take it mentally anymore. The customers in today's day and age are unhinged. And I'm serious. Unhinged, belligerent, downright almost violent. You have to literally watch your back with customers. And I'm not exaggerating. My last job was at a garden center. I remember one time, before I worked in the garden center, I was a cart collector out in the parking lot, right? There was this man who seemed to be having some issues with getting a toolbox into the back of his car. And I go up to him and I go, hey, can I help you get that into your car? Doing good customer service. The guy he turns around and just starts belligerently screaming at me, sounding like a woman, like insane things were coming out of his mouth. And he was saying things like, where the F have you effing been? I've been calling you for 15 minutes. And I'm just looking at this guy like, what is he talking about? I just was trying to be nice and give him good customer service. I guess that he had asked for assistance inside the store and nobody told me. It wasn't on the radio or anything like that. I was just trying to give good service. Now, but okay, so the thing is that sometimes these belligerent people actually even start getting worked up from screaming, and they get even more angry, and that's what this guy was doing. I had to take a step back. Because it was in Arizona, which is an open carry state, he had a gun on him. And he was flailing his arms, and he was really, really aggressive. And then he took a step back and he put his hand on his gun and I had to run away. I don't know if he was going to shoot me, but I didn't say a single word other than, "Can I help you get that in your car?" Those are the only words I said. And he was obviously belligerent and crazy. That's just an example. Now, I also worked at a call center. I worked at call centers for probably 20 years. Now, here's the thing. I legit have PTSD from working in call centers. You're like, that's insane. No. If you've ever worked in a call center, the retention rate, meaning the amount of people that quit within the first year, is usually around 70% because they can't handle it. I was at one job for 3.5 years and another job for 8.5 years. And the thing is that when people are on the phone, they have this feeling of anonymity. So even though you have their address, their name, their phone number, and everything else right in front of you on the screen, they feel that you don't know who they are, so they can say anything to you and have no repercussions. And it's true, there's no repercussions. And the bad thing about the jobs is that they work in call centers, they work in metric systems. And if a customer becomes belligerent and is screaming at you, cursing at you, threatening you, and it happens every day, so don't just say it's just a one-off. Every day, you'll get at least, I'd say 3 to 5 calls where they're so belligerent and threatening that you actually have to put them on pause or mute and call a supervisor to request permission to hang up on the customer. You have to ask for permission to hang up on the customer. And so with the PTSD that I have, and people don't understand, I can't be on the phone. So I have a cell phone just like everybody else. But if somebody calls me, if I get a phone call and it's not from a really close friend or relative, and it's just like a number that I don't recognize, I can't pick it up. And even when my phone rings, so I have to keep the ring on silent, but so if my phone rings, I immediately get into, like, I guess you could say fight or flight, and I want to run away from the phone. My hands start sweating. I start getting heart palpitations. I start sweating, and the veins start popping out in my head from stress, and I start turning all red. And you can laugh, but it's not fun and it's not funny. And I can't remember the last time I talked on the phone because I can't mentally do it. And when you're in a call center and somebody's screaming at you, yelling at you, you finally hang up the call after letting them yell at you for 10 minutes. It really does kill your faith in humanity to start with that. But the second you hang up, there's an automatic system, and when they hang up, they could be in the middle of a rant and they just hang up on you, and then beep, and then the next call comes in and you're like, thank you for calling Restoration Hardware. This is Prepper Princess. How can I help you? And then they'll go on and start screaming at you. Nobody ever calls customer service just to say you're doing a great job. Just saying. Nobody ever does that. So that's one of the issues, is the customers. And with the culture that we're living in now, they have actually become so entitled and belligerent that working in retail, in my opinion, working in food, retail, or anything dealing with the public is downright dangerous at this point. I have had customers wait in the parking lot for me to get off of my shifts. Whether they were stalking me for romantic feelings or they wanted to beat me up, I don't know. But I've had to have security escort me out to my car. I don't know how many times. But the customers are only like the aspect in retail, and also when you work in call centers. But when you're working in an office or a call center, now you have to deal with your coworkers, your wonderful coworkers, and the rules of the company. So you're working there, really low wages, and let's just start with the coworkers who pretend to be your friends. Your coworkers are not your friends. HR is not your friends. Management is not your friends. Don't ever tell them anything personal. If HR comes in and says, so-and-so said you said this, just say, no, I didn't. I don't know what they're talking about. Because if you admit to anything or you say, that's not what I said this, they will find a reason to fire you. they will absolutely find a reason to fire you. And it can just be a simple allegation. And they will, if you say that you said anything, they will find a way to fire you. Just say, I have no idea what they're talking about. That's it. Never admit to anything, or you will get fired sooner or later. And your coworkers will throw you under the bus. Absolutely. If you are, there's a metric system. If you are performing better than them, that means that you get a higher pick of the upcoming schedule, because schedule is based on performance and attendance. And if you're doing better than them, they will find anything they can to get you into the HR office, to get you fired so that they can have your schedule. Are you following me? So when schedule time came around, I remember a couple of instances when I got called into the HR office of racist accusations, where they were, it took so long to figure out. We had to actually call in my supervisor, because they were the one that I was technically having the conversation with, and we didn't have a clue what HR was talking about. Comes to turn out, a black person thought that I was talking about black people in slavery when we were talking about Uber Black. Uber Black is a service that is like, it has to be a black vehicle with black leather interior, and it has to be like, I think 2 years old or newer, and Uber charges a premium. Now I've only used Uber once in my life, but so I don't even know if that service is available, but at that time they had that service. And I got called into the office because this person wanted my schedule, and they wanted the top pick of the schedule, and they were trying to get me fired. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There's also a huge woke culture with the 20-somethings. Before I left my last job, there was a girl on our team. She was woke as woke can be. And we hated her. We could not stand this girl. And she knew it. Nobody liked this girl on our team. We wanted her to go. It was like every morning she would come in and be like, okay, guys, we got this. And we would just ignore her. And we actually the entire team got called into the office. There was something like 17 of us. And we all got called into the office because she was crying. And instead of having one person have grown-up feelings and grown-up emotions, the other 16 people got reprimanded for not responding to her. We got this with, you bet we do, Kelly. Absolutely. We got this. So we had to start adjusting our behavior for one person instead of one person adjusting their behavior for 17 others. This girl has gotten away with it her entire life. And the woke culture in these office buildings is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. My supervisor, who was the best supervisor I've ever had, got fired because a woke person was offended by a comment that she made where she was talking about a documentary she watched about the Unabomber. She was talking about a documentary. And because this guy was, I don't know, Middle Eastern or something, and woke, he found it to be racially offensive about some sort of conversation where something like that happened. So the woke culture has infiltrated the office space. Then you also have to deal with unwanted promotions. I got promoted in a job one time that I did not ask for the promotion. I just showed up one day and I was getting nothing but escalated phone calls. Those are from the really fun ones. And they said, because you have such amazing performance, we decided to go ahead and give you a 12-cent an hour raise and a new title, which means that all you do from this point on is take escalated phone calls instead of regular customers because you're that good. Didn't want that. And thank God that whole job was gone. They got bought up by another company and a transition and all this other stuff. Didn't want that. Did not want that. And of course, when you go and say, I didn't want that, they'll say, well, it's a business need, so either take it or you're fired. And I had from this company a $20,000 check coming up anyway, that's another story. And then there's the ones where you do want to get promoted, and then you go into the job, but because you've been in your position for 5 years and you've gotten all these raises, you're now making, as an example, you're now making $20 an hour. Well, this job that is above you, that has more responsibility, and is much more difficult and a higher job title, you're making 20, but it only pays 18. So if you move to that higher position, you're going to take a pay cut. Well, can't I just do a lateral transition? No. No, because that position starts at 18. Take it or leave it. Thanks, but I'll leave it because I need the $20 an hour instead of your 18 an hour. And yeah, it's not fun. So you're dealing with enemies coming at you at all sides. You're dealing with the customers, you're dealing with coworkers, and then you have the policies of the company on top of that. So you've been there for 2 years and you haven't had a single vacation. You're like, I want to take 2 weeks off. And you're like, I've got the vacation time set up. And then you have to schedule it electronically. You're the way that the software works is you can't do it more than 2 or 3 months in advance or something like that. And you can only get days off that are not already scheduled by somebody else in the company who you've never met and you don't know. So you're lucky if you get like a Monday and a Thursday off. You have 2 weeks vacation time, but because, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday are already taken by somebody else, you can't take a real vacation. You can only take a Monday and a Thursday that week. So you have to show up on Tuesday and Wednesday and Friday. So because you can only get Monday and Thursday. So you never get a vacation. You never get a real time to decompress from this soul-sucking, low-wage, unappreciated, crappy benefit job. This job didn't even have a 401k match. And then, so you're dealing with everything. And then you've got the metrics on top of that. If you want to keep your job, you have to be NonStop. And now they have this wonderful software where they can tell how many clicks you've made with a mouse. And if you don't make enough clicks with that mouse, then you're automatically, and they don't even give you a warning, you're just automatically terminated. If you want to take a bathroom, you better do it during your 15-minute break, because if you don't, you only have a 3-minute bathroom break. And if you go above that 3 minutes in a day, you get written up. 3 minutes. That's not enough time to, if you have to go number 2, there was this guy I used to work with. The poor guy. He went to the bathroom once, and he was gone for 9 minutes. And the manager came up in front of everyone on the entire call center floor. Hey, what's Joe? Hey, Joe, where have you been? No, it's not him. No, there's nothing there. Sorry, I have a friend named Joe and they love him. No, it's not him. No, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. He's not here. Come here, puppies. Come here. He's not, I'm sorry. Oh, Rocky, he's not here. I'm going to pick a different name. Bob. Sorry, they really do love Joe. So Bob was gone for 9 minutes going to the bathroom. There's nothing there. It's not him. Going to the bathroom, like number 2, and this manager in front of the entire call center floor is like, Bob, where have you been? You've been clocked out for 9 minutes. And he's like, yeah, I was going to the bathroom. And he's like, you can't do that. You only have 3 minutes. If you need to take a dump, you do it on your break. What? When you gotta go, you gotta go. I'm sorry. And this 3 minute is not, I'm a female, okay, obviously, but it takes a minute and a half to get to the bathroom, walking all the way across. It takes a minute and a half to get there, maybe a minute to go potty. You better run back to your desk without washing your hands if you want to make it in that 3 minute time. So you don't even have time to wash your hands. I have seen girls walk out of the bathroom like they got their hands wet and they put soap and they didn't even have time to use that little push button dryer, so they just ran out like going like this trying to get back to their desk. It's ridiculous, you guys. It's completely unacceptable, not unacceptable, unachievable requirements from a company. You can't meet their requirements. It's nearly impossible. And then someone like me, I'll be like, so here's what happened. I had the highest performance and the highest metrics in the entire call center of I think it was 350 people at the time. 350 people. And I was literally number one in everything, in every single aspect: call time, customer service, quality, everything, you name it. Number one in the company out of 350. I get my yearly review, meets expectations. Congratulations, here is your 1% raise. And by the way, you are lucky to have that raise because not everybody got a raise. You're lucky to work for us. You're lucky. You're lucky you even have a job, you little imp. I don't really know what an imp is, but I know that people call other people imps. Now I have to look it up and see if I need to apologize. There's nothing there, Rocky. It's not him. Oh. Yes, it is a fairy or demon. I don't need to apologize, though. So that's why I will never work another 9 to 5. And it has greatly affected my mental health. It has killed my faith in humanity. And when I say I would rather live in a tent than go back to a 9 to 5 job like that, I'm not kidding, because it will crush my soul. I'll probably have a stroke or a heart attack if I were to go back into a job like that. I can't, or I'll end up in prison because people. I can't mentally take it, and I want to know if you all, I know you must agree with me. If you are the 1 in a million person who loves your job, you have a corporation or a job that totally respects you, and you're very much valued in your company, and they make sure to let you know all the time, you've got a pension, you've got a 401k with a huge match, and you've got amazing benefits. I am seriously happy for you, but please, just know, you are literally 1 in a million. You are that lucky. Do what you can with what you've got. Prepper Princess out. Did somebody say peanut butter? I'm pretty sure I heard someone say peanut butter. Is that what you need? Is that what it is? I don't know, Rocky. Have you been good? Do you deserve peanut butter? Do you deserve peanut butter? Yeah? Well, I'm going to need a kiss. You want peanut butter? I want a kiss. Give me a kiss. Oh. Ah! Mwah! Okay. We'll get you some.